Today we have a very interesting topic, and if you want to become masters of negotiations, then this video is just for you. Today we will analyze Chris Voss's book, No Compromises, which talks about how to negotiate correctly and how psychological techniques will help you in a variety of situations. But before we start, I want to thank you for your support. You really inspire us, and we are very pleased that you are with us. So don't forget to like it if you're interested and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new videos. So, the book we're going to talk about today is called No Compromise, and its author is Chris Voss, a former FBI agent who negotiated with terrorists and criminals. This man was at the forefront of the most dangerous negotiations, where there was no room for mistakes. And now he shares his knowledge and experience, which can be applied not only in extreme situations, but also in everyday life. Chapter 1. Become a mirror. Up to 5 people usually participate in negotiations with criminals. Extra ears can always pick up more information. One person analyzes the mood of the attacker, and the other can catch important details. When one person is working, he quickly becomes overloaded with information because he begins to listen selectively, hearing only what he wants to hear. This is how it happens. When we are silent, we think about our arguments, and when we speak, we put them forward. That is, we do not listen to the interlocutor, but try to impose our point of view. Therefore, it is important to focus not on your own thoughts, but on what the other person is saying. There are 3 basic tones. Firstly, the voice of the FM night DJ is deep, soft, slow, and soothing. By speaking slowly and clearly, you show that you're in control of the situation. Secondly, a positive, playful voice. Thirdly, a direct, confident voice. But this third one is rarely used because it gives a signal of superiority, which causes the interlocutor to become aggressive and argue. A positive voice should be used more often. This is the voice of a benevolent person. To make it sound that way, relax and smile while talking. A smile, even if you are talking on the phone, immediately affects your tone. The other person will feel it. Mirroring, or copying a pose, is an imitation by which we calm another person. We copy his speech patterns, pace of speech, tone of voice, and body language. This creates trust because we are afraid of everything that is different from us and are drawn to what is similar to us. When we communicate with a loved one, we do it unconsciously, but if we do it consciously, we can show the other person that we are similar. In negotiations, mirror only the words. In the FBI, a mirror is created when you repeat the last 2 or 3 words of the interlocutor. This forces him to speak more specifically and reveal more information. Here's how it works. 1. Use the voice of the FM night DJ. 2. Start with sorry. 3. Mirror the interlocutor. 4. Be silent to give a mirroring effect. 5. Repeat. One of the students learned this and got rid of unnecessary work. Every time her boss barged into the office, he overwhelmed her with unnecessary work. When he said, "Make me 2 hard copies of all the documents," she repeated, "Excuse me, 2 copies." And he began to explain that in fact only 2 were needed, one for him and the other for the customer. Every time she repeated his words, he clarified the details, until eventually he refused to print copies. She managed to avoid a week of unnecessary work. Chapter 2. Don't feel someone else's pain. Put a label on it. Emotions are an important tool in negotiations. You grope your opponent's vulnerabilities, understand his problems, and return these emotions to him so that he feels them more strongly and opens up to you. In that case, you should talk less and listen more. This way, you will get all the necessary information. The more you know about a person, the more influence you have over them. In the FBI, A negotiator can put himself in the shoes of a criminal and express the feelings that he believes he is experiencing. For example, it looks like you don't want to come out because you're afraid they'll start shooting at you. But it's not like that. We won't touch you. I guarantee it. All this is said in the voice of a night DJ. When the criminals surrendered, the negotiator asked them why they decided to do this, and they replied that they were really afraid of being shot, and if he hadn't shown sympathy, he probably would have had to use force. Tactical empathy is the ability to recognize an opponent's point of view and express it. This does not mean that you have to agree with his values or beliefs. You don't need to feel sympathy. It's just important to understand how this person sees the world. Labeling is a similar process. You evaluate someone's emotions by giving them a name. This allows you to show that you understand how a person feels. You get closer to him without asking him directly what he wants. To label it, use phrases like "it looks like." Zrение вы звучите как. The comma is a comma. If the person does not agree with the label, say, "I did not claim that this is exactly the case. I just said that, apparently, it is." After you label it, keep quiet and listen. Give the other person the opportunity to open up and talk about themselves. When you put a label on it, it can reveal hidden emotions. Each person has ostentatious emotions that he demonstrates and underwater ones that he hides. For example, a grandfather may grumble when the whole family is going to dinner, but deep down he feels lonely because he rarely sees his family. By labeling, a specialist can bring these hidden emotions out, weaken the negative, and strengthen the positive ones. To demonstrate this, you can say, "You seem to feel that we are not paying attention to you," and give Grandpa the opportunity to assess that you understand his feelings. Then you can say something positive, like, "It's a real celebration for us to get back together. It's very important for us to spend time with you and listen to your stories." This will help to change his mood. Chapter 3. Beware of the answer "yes" and get the answer "everything is right." American psychologist Carl Rogers discovered that when we perceive a person for who he is more likely to open up to us. But because most of us seek approval, we often hide our true identity and choose words to please others, trying to meet their expectations. One day, terrorists took a U.S. citizen hostage, demanding money from the government. An FBI agent was sent to negotiate. His task was to get the terrorist to answer, "Everything is right." A strategy has been developed for this. First, effective pauses. The agent had to create pauses in the conversation so that the terrorist continued to speak, and the agent listened attentively, revealing his emotions. Secondly, minimal encouragement. The agent used short phrases such as "yes," "okay," "I see," to show the terrorist that he was listening to him. Thirdly, the mirror image. Instead of arguing, the agent repeated what the terrorist had said, which helped establish contact. Fourth, labeling. The agent called the feelings of the terrorist, for example. "It looks like you've been treated unfairly. I understand why you're angry." Fifth, paraphrasing. The agent retold the terrorist's words in his own words, confirming that he understood his point of view. After the agent applied all this, the terrorist agreed that his point of view was understood and accepted, and replied, "Everything is correct." This softened his position. He stopped demanding money for the hostage and even relaxed the guard, which allowed the hostage to escape. The answer, "Everything is correct," allowed the terrorist to make concessions without feeling that he had surrendered. He admitted the truth of his own free will. The phrase "you are right" is different from "everything is right." "You're right" is a phrase that is said to get behind when a person does not agree but does not want to conflict. "That's right" means acknowledging the other person's point of view without pressure. Chapter 4. No is also the answer. Today, most sales scripts are designed to make a person say yes. For example, The seller may ask, "Do you like to drink clean water?" "Yes," the buyer replies. The seller continues, "Like me, surely you like drinking fresh water?" "Yes," the buyer replies. The seller hopes that the answer, "yes," will lead to a sale, but in fact it may irritate the buyer, who will feel manipulated. He can say yes to get behind him, and then start looking for reasons not to buy the product. When a person says no, it gives you the opportunity to figure out exactly what they don't want. After listening to him, you can clarify or change the approach. Using tactics with terrorists, they are not told to give up immediately. They are given the opportunity to say no first. After that, you can change the strategy by convincing the opponent that your offers are profitable. When you hear no, do not take it as a refusal, but as an expression of doubt or a need for more information. For example, you can say, "It seems that something is bothering you. You're afraid that this will not help. We have a special offer. Listen." Then the person will open up and you will be able to work with his doubts. When you get a call, pay attention to how unpleasant it is when they try to push you to yes. For example, a fundraiser may ask, "Do you think that if everything stays as it is, better times await us?" "No, everything will only get worse," the person will say. The collector continues, "Will you just sit and watch this go on?" "No, I will do everything to prevent this from happening," the man replies. And then the collector can offer to donate, so no turns into yes, increasing contributions by 23%. If someone does not respond to your messages, ask a question that the person is obliged to answer no. For example, "Are you abandoning this project?" This will force him to respond and explain his position. Chapter 5. Adjust reality to suit yourself. When a person is given limited time to make a decision, he often begins to make mistakes and make concessions. This is because he scares himself with the thought that if he doesn't make it, the deal will fall through. However, there is an important rule. It is better not to make a deal than to make a bad deal. If you follow this principle, you will always have enough time to negotiate, and your patience will become a powerful weapon. There is no need to panic when time is coming to an end. There are two opinions on whether to talk about deadlines or keep them secret. Herb Cohen argues in his book that it is better not to disclose deadlines. For example, when buying a car, you will be offered a better price towards the end of the month, and managers will also find it easier to make concessions when the quarter is nearing completion. Therefore, experienced negotiators ask suppliers or buyers from other countries when they plan to leave and delay negotiations until the last day, until the supplier agrees to terms that are unfavorable to him. Usually people are afraid to lose something important more than getting something. Therefore, for example, if you paid employees €200 per day and now you want to reduce this amount to €100, it is better not to announce this at once. Instead, you can start with fixing emotions. For example, you can say, "When I finish my performance, you may think that I am a useless businessman who cannot even develop a plan." This allows you to change the context of the conversation, and now, instead of reducing the salary, people begin to think about how to avoid the loss of these €100. This will help to convince employees to agree to change the conditions. It is also important that your opponent is the first to talk about money. Otherwise, if you name the amount that is too low for you, this can cause discontent, and if you offer too high the amount, offense. If you are pressed on you can use two methods. To name the amount significantly exceeding your expectations so that it does not seem so large, or offer a range. For example, competitors pay from 5 to 8,000 for such work. In this case, you can start bargain. In addition, you can offer something valuable for your opponent but does not matter to you, so you can persuade him to accept your offer. and always call specific numbers. For example, 17,189 euros to show that you have calculated everything and a person will not want to bargain. Chapter 6. Create an illusion. To create the illusion that your opponent controls the situation, but in fact you are directing a conversation, use exactly verified questions that cannot be answered yes or no. It is best to start questions from the words what or how. This method reduces aggression in the conversation and helps to switch the interlocutor from the emotional system, System 1, to logical, System 2. When a person answers detailed questions, he calms down and begins to look for a logical solution. For example, if you go to the store and are looking for something specific, you can ask the seller what he can offer, but do not say that the price is too high. Instead, say that the price is slightly more than you expected and ask him to help you reduce the price, so the seller will think that he controls the situation and will offer you a solution. If another company owed you money, do not threaten it directly, but ask, "How can I do it?" refining that you have no money because they did not pay. This will make them find a solution and most likely repay you debts. As a result, it is important to remember that, creating the correct illusion of control, you can negotiate in your favor, and another person, thinking that he controls the situation, will rather agree to your proposal. This is where the book is coming to an end. If you liked it, do not forget to like it, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell so as not to miss new videos. Write in the comments what you think about the book and what topics you are interested in. Bye.